Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be reviewing Amphibia Season 1 Episode 10, the first half, called Toe Tax, and later today I'm going to be doing Prison Break. It's going to be the same day. So yeah, you get the whole mid-season finale in 2 videos and in the same day. In the second half, in Prison Break, I'm going to be saying what I'm going to be doing this coming week. The first week of June. What you mean? Okay, so let's get started with toe tax. It starts with Anne, Hop Hop, Polly, Sprig in the supermarket. Their supermarket, I think the Grub and Go, and I thought it was kind of weird. I only had two complaints. Two complaints in this half of the episode, and this is one of them where I thought it was kind of weird that they didn't mention Hop Hop losing his job, like because they're going to the supermarket. Thought it was kind of weird. Anne said, "Hey, why are we going shopping? We don't have any money." I just thought it was kind of weird. Maybe they might address it in a different episode. So 95% right now, but I just thought it was kind of weird. But so Hop Hop has this little grocery cart, and Anne's like, I'm gonna go get some of that beetle jerky I like. And I can't believe it just said that because she's been living here for a while, and she's about to go grab it, but Wally used his tongue to get it, and she's like, hey, that was totally mine, Wally. And say, oh, you're too slow, Scarecrow. And hey, don't call me Scarecrow. And Sadie Croaker, the old lady, say, hey, move your big bum out of the way, Scarecrow. She's hitting her with a shopping cart and say, hey, my bum isn't big, I'm big. It's technically it's the proportion. And she slips and falls, and this guy with the red curly hair and the braces is like, hey, did you notice the sign, Scarecrow? And she's like embarrassed, and everyone's laughing at her, and she goes outside, and the family is waiting for her. Sprig, Hop Hop, and Polly, and this with Bessie, the snail with the cart. And Sprig's like, hey, did you get the jerky you wanted? And Sprig's like, hey, what's wrong? And Anne's like, well, I've been living here for a month, and the townspeople still treat me crummy. I just wish they'd treat me a little nicer. And it's established that she's been here for a month. Her parents must be going crazy. But, and Hop Hop's like, that's just how these frogs are. Slow to accept, and even slower to respect. It's even a town motto. And I wish I can show the sign, because it shows a really cool 3D effect when it's swinging. And then, that's a terrible town motto. And Hop Hop's like, you earned her respect, Anne, in your weird little Anne way. And then everyone just, is in the cart, and, they pass by this stone statue of Mayor Toadstool kissing a tadpole. And Hop Hop's like, well, that statue's new. And Sprig's like, and tasteless. Woof. And Bessie stops. And, Sprig and immediately gets out of the cart and goes checks on Bessie. He's like, hey, girl, what's up? And they see these toads with this giant tarantula or spider that's like driving the cart, and this one, and did they have like armor and these badges, and one of them, like the leader, he cracks his neck and he's like, ow, he's like, nothing like a crack in the neck after a morning drive, am I right? And Mayor Toadstool comes out of his office with Toadie. He's like, oh, good, you're here. Toadie, give them the list. And Anne's like, who are these guys? And Hop Hop's like, toads from Toad Tower. They rule over the entire valley. And then Anne's like, Toad what? And it's like, Toad Tower is a spooky tower in the middle of the swamp, and the toads are the fiercest warriors. And Anne's like, oh, that's so cool. And Hop Hop's like, cool, yes, but it can be a rough sort, so it's best that we stay away from them. And, oh, there they go. And Sprig gonna go talk to them. And then, they're getting the stuff ready to do whatever they're gonna do. And Sprig's like, so, you guys are from Toad Tower? And he's like, sure, I runt. And like, oh, my name's Sprig, actually. Yeah, sure. And he's like, oh, what's that? And pointing to Anne, it's like, some sort of dangly creature I've never seen before. And the lady Toad is like, oh, I wonder what it tastes like. And Sprig gets this slingshot, and this is my second complaint in the episode, and I have no more complaints that this happened in the episode, where Anne gets her tennis racket out of nothing, and assuming that her skirt has pockets, the pocket would have been bulky, and the tennis racket handle would have been sticking out, but no, she just gets her tennis racket out of nothing. It's like her, skirt with pockets of holding or something like that. I don't know. But she gets a tennis racket and nothing. Sprig gets a slingshot and he's like, hey, she's not for eating. And it's like, stay back. And then she's like, oh, is that challenging? She has like a small version of a baseball bat with spikes, and she's throwing at Anne, and Anne hits her with a tennis racket. And then and the leader toad is like, ha ha ha, and the lead toad is like, oh, that was awesome. And the guy toad is like, I don't know what you are, creature, but you got fire. And Anne has a tennis racket and she's smiling, and Sprig has this like sour look in his face, and Hop Hop's like, all right, enough flirting with them, let's go. And Sprig's like, ugh, finally, come on, Anne. And Anne's like, I was wondering if we could stay with these guys a little longer. Like, they seem pretty cool. And Sprig's like, cool, ha. Like not cool, but like smelly and stinky, and like don't forget creepy. And this one with the helmet is breathing really heavily. And it's like, wait a second, are you jealous? I think they're cool. And Sprig's like, me? Just ha? No. If you wanna hang out with some grody toads, and be my guest. No skin off my skin. And Hop Hop's like, okay, don't be out too late. And Polly's like, I'm eating your pancakes. I totally forgot where Hop Hop's like, come on, let's go get some beetle pancakes. And it's like, oh, my favorite. I've been here too long, so I forgot that joke. Sorry. But Paul's like, I'm going to eat your pancakes. And Sprig's like, not jealous. And it's like, oh, he jelly. And then the leader toad, Anne's first is like, so, I never got your names. And the leader toad hands Anne like a crate to help them out. And he's like, name's Bog. The silent one's Meyer. And Fens, you already met her. The girl toad. And is it, my name's Anne. What are you guys doing in Wartwood? And is it, well, the tower didn't get any taxes. And and every year we get taxes from the towns in the valley. And this year, this town came up short. And the mayor handed us a list of all the frogs that didn't pay. And we're just here to collect. Hey, we can use someone like you. And Anne's like, really? And he's like, yeah, you know the ins and outs of this town. Having you with us is going to make the job a lot smoother. And it's like, I don't know. I don't think it's my business. And Bog's like, the best part of having this badge is everyone in this town has to treat you with respect. And he's like, give me that thing. And I guess they're done with the pancakes. And Polly's just sitting on the couch, and Hop Hop and Sprig are playing their version of chess, and Hop Hop's like, oh yeah, I got your last frog, oh yeah, and Sprig just even more down, and Anne just comes in and has this like armor with like a frog symbol, like a badge, and she has a sword, and she's like, hey, look who just became a Toad Tower deputy. And they're like, what? And like, yeah, and look at this cool sword Bog gave me. And it's actually a pretty cool sword scene, fighting nothing. And she's like, watcha. And he just cut I don't know what we call it, like a hat stand or a jacket, like stand where you hang your hats and jackets and stuff. And it cuts it, and he's like, I can fix that. And Hop Hop's like, Anne, what I meant by earning the town's respect, I didn't mean join a gang. And Anne's like, I don't believe this. They're not a gang. They're just here to do a job. And now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna enjoy some respect. And Sprig just opens the window, and Hop Hop's like, boy, what are you doing? He's like, I have a bad feeling about this. I'm gonna go watch over Anne, and you'll look after her. And Hop Hop's like, that's well and good, but can you use the front door? He's like, no. And he crawls out of the window, because that's like his thing in the episode Stakeout. He went out the window too, so that's his thing. And that's in the theme song also, like he goes out the window. First we head to Wally's house, and it's like a log house. And it's like, okay, so do we remind Wally that he's late? Do we remind him how much he owes? And Bob just kicks on the door, and Wally's taking a bath. He's like, oh, jumping Jew bugs. Well, what's going on here? And then they're all laughing. And it's like, I guess you owe the town money? And then Wally's like, rubbish. I may live in squalor, but I always pay my taxes. And Bog's like, well, the list says you didn't pay, and since you haven't paid, we're going to be taking your stuff. And they just ransack his house. They steal his accordion, they steal his chickens, they bust through the cabinets and steal his beetle jerky. Like, they take his pots and pans and plates and his shell. and then they're playing the accordion, and they're chasing the chickens, and Bog's like, here you go, Anne, here's a little extra for you, and she's like, Bog, this seems a little too extreme. And he's like, this is just how things work around here, and it's not like we enjoy it. Now, who wants to go right to the next house? And just looks at Wally, he looks really sad, and he's like, here, take this back. And, is it, and you're coming? Is it, yeah, I'm coming. And Wally's like, thanks. Like, because remember, Wally was the one who kind of took the beetle jerky from her, using his tongue, so, she gave it back to him. And then Sprig is like, that's weird. Wally always pays his taxes. And then he hears Mayor Toadstool, and Sprig jumps in the bushes. And then Mayor Toadstool has his tiny sack, and he's like, come on, Toady, while the town's preoccupied. And Toadie's like, coming, sir. And he has this giant sack on him. Oh my god, he's gonna break his back. And then a copper coin falls out of the bag. And then Sprig's like, grabs it, and he's like, a copper coin? The mayor? A hole in the bag? And then she sees Anne like driving off with the toads from Toad Tower and looking back at the mayor, and he's like, hopefully you'll be okay, Anne. And then he's gonna go after Mayor Toadstool. And then they basically going to house, ransacking people, strong arming people. They go to Felicia's tea shop, and Ivy's there too, and she's like, oh, how horrid, and she gives her back her number one mug back. Here, take this. And Felicia smiles, and they go to Loggle's wood shop, and they take his the Olympic muscle statue. He's like, no. And Anne's like, psst, here, take this. And it's Loggle's cane. And they go to Sadie Croker's house. They're taking her stuff, and it's like, Archie, sick him. And Anne and the other toads like move out of the way, so the animal toad with the helmet go roar, and Archie gets scared, and they take Archie's bed. Anne takes the bed and puts a flower pot in their hand, so it kind of looks like nothing happened, and gives the bed back, and Archie gives Anne a little hug on Anne's leg like a pet would do. And Anne's like, has this clock putting in the car, and he's like, I don't know, Bog, this seems a little too extreme. And he's like, and like I know this job seems tough, but it has to be done. And Fenz is like, yep, it's a tough job, it'll make you tough. And he's like, I guess that makes sense. Who's next on the list? It's some nut named Hopadaya Planter. Oh crud. Is it? And actually next on the list is Stumpy. If they would have been done with Hopadaya, they would have went to Stumpy next. So I just wanted to show that because I read the list. And he's like, Bog, that list has to be wrong. I know that Frog. He's totally honest. And Bog's like, Anne, the tower didn't get any taxes. And if we didn't get the money, then where is it? And then you see Mayor Toadstool is putting all the money in the butt of the statue, which is funny. And then it's perfect. It's a flawless plan, Toady, the perfect plan. And then who would think to look for the town's money in plain sight? And Toad's like, oh, stroke of genius, sir. And they close the butt, and it's a commentary before someone sees it. Sprig's like, the taxes, you fiends! Everyone's gonna be furious when they find out about this. And Mayor Toadstool is like, well, it's a good thing that you won't be able to tell him. Mayor Toadstool tries to grab him, and Sprig jumps over Mayor Toadstool, jumps on Toadie's head. And, oh, you have to catch me first. And they knock over the bleachers, or the I don't know what you call it, the camouflage thing that's covering the statue. It's like, Toadie after him, and they're hopping after him. Whew, sorry, I better slow down. And it's raining, and it's lightning, and Bog, what was his name, Meyer, and Fenz and Anne are like, along with Hop Hop and Polly. And Hop Hop's like, for the last time, I paid my dang taxes. You can't come in here, and that's final. And Bog's like, I don't like your tone, Frog. Or did you forget who you're talking to? And Anne's like, Bog, I'm telling you, he paid his taxes. He made me watch. And then you see the flashback where Anne's just like this. And then Hop's writing his tax, but like, then you carry your deductible. And oop, guess what, Anne? You're a deductible. And Anne's like, kill me. And it's like, whoo. And Bog's like, And they all say they paid, which is kinda true in some cases. And I don't care what you think you saw, the kind of think he's thinking that she's imagining it. Is it like the lists don't lie? Now, what should we start with first? And then Fens is no, sorry, yeah, Fens, yeah. Fens is like, oh, how about that thing? And then Bessie's making her noise, and Hop-Pop's like, you stay away from her. And Polly's like, I'll bite your face off. And Bog's like, that snail will cover perfectly. Fens, Meyer, Anne, like move out. And Fens and Meyer move, and Anne doesn't. And Bog's laughing, and Bessie's backing away because she doesn't want to be taken. And sorry, Hop-Pop's like, you monsters! And Anne looks at her bag and she's sweating and she's like, stop! And they're all like turning on her, like turning to her, and she's like, you keep your claws off that snail. Better yet, get off our property, which I think is a nice callback to her establishing a bond in what was the name of the episode? Anne Theft Auto, where she bonded with Bessie. She's not just a vehicle, she's actually like a living creature, so I think it was a nice callback to that. And it said like they get off her property, and it started raining and thundering, and it's raining on them. And Bugs, the character repeat that is that I said, get lost now. And all the townspeople show up, and Wally's in his like towel, which is funny. And then Anne just looks at her badge and like takes the badge off, and it has a reflection on the badge, and she's like, all I wanted was this town's respect, but just because these people treat me crummy doesn't mean I'm gonna do the same to them. I'm done with this. I don't care if they've broken the law. You can't treat people like this. And she takes off her like armor off and her badge and throwing it in the mud, and all the townspeople are like, oh, and they're all smiling, and Bog just like, I hope that wasn't too loud. And then what was it? Fens like pushes her in the mud and puts a boot on her, and then like in Bog's like, how disappointing. Do you know what we do to traitors at the tower? And he gets a big mallet, basically gonna kill her. And what was it? I keep on forgetting her name for some reason. I'm sorry, but she's like, what was her name? Keep forgetting. Fens, yeah. Fens is like, oh, you're about to be a pill bug pancake, you little brat. And oh, your foot's about to be a pancake. She goes out of the way, and Bog hits Fens, and she's like, ah. And then Anne gets her tennis racket and her sword, and then you see the lightning and the rain, and then Ben's going on with her like small baseball bat with the sticks. She like tries to defend herself against her. Bog goes with his mallet, and they're warriors, so they're better than her. And Bog swipes away her tennis racket and her sword. And Fens, they don't show it because it's a kid show, but with the weapon with the spikes, it hits Anne, and she's like, ah. And you kind of see her with scratches on her, and she's with her arm like she's like this, and Bog's like, sorry, creature, but it's his business. And Sprig hits him with a mud ball, and Bog's like, what the? And Sprig comes out in the forest, and he's like, you leave her alone. And Wally's like, yeah, you leave her Anne alone. And what was her name? Felicia's like, yeah, she's one of us. And all the townspeople surrounding the Toads. And Sadie Croker's like, and you got a problem with her. You got a problem with all of us. And like all the townspeople has their like pitchforks and stuff. And Fens and Bog dropped their weapons. And I forgot to mention that Meyer was grabbing Hop and Polly when they're starting to attack Anne, the defender. But one's an old person, one's a baby, so they can't do anything. And this is actually, I kind of like this, where usually in a tough group you have the one that's really sensitive, where the one with the helmet's like, he doesn't want a confrontation, and he lets go of Hop and Polly. Where some shows kind of do it too much. He only says one line, and that's it. And I think that's really perfect, establishing like his character without ruining the character, being like, oh, is a super nice guy, has a weird voice, kind of weird character design. No, I think it was absolutely perfect. And more shows should do that because Big City Greens does something weird. But whatever, we're not talking about that today. But Meyer drops Hop Up and Polly. Sprig goes to check on Anne. Anne's still holding her arm, and he's like, "Hey, what took you so long?" And Sprig's like, "I'm sorry, I got tied up." And you see, Mary Toadstool and Toadie, and Mary Toadstool like, "Whew, I gotta cut those cricket nuggets." And Sprig's like, "Arrest that Toad! He stole all the town's money and is keeping it for himself." And everyone's like, and then everyone's at the town square, and um and then Sprig's like, "May I?" And Bog just drops the mallet in Sprig's arms, and he just drops, and he's like, "Oh, I think you should do the honors." And Bog just butts the butt of the statue, and all the money comes out, and they're like, and Bog just like, the Mayor Toadstool, and then everyone's surrounding Mayor Toadstool, and he's like, people, I needed extra money for my campaign. Do you know how much it cost to buy love?" And one of them throws like a fruit at him and misses. And I hate this, but it's politics. Politicians do this sometimes. And he's like, "As mayor, I pardon myself for any wrongdoing. Thank you." And then everyone's like, "Get out of here, you scoundrel!" But he pardoned himself, so just telling me he's gonna be back. But like, I pardon myself for any wrongdoing. And then like you see like a cool establishing shot of the valley, and Anne, they broke her arm when she got attacked with the scratches, and she's holding her arm. Her arm's broken. It's in a cast, and she's trying to get Sadie's clock back, and the planters are helping him. And Bog's like, "If it was respect you were looking for, you sure lost mine. You got a lot of nerve. I'll give you that." "We'll be back, Anne, and we won't be alone." And then Hop Hop's like, "She doesn't need your respect." And Walt's like, "Yeah, she's got ours." And they're like, "Yeah." And like the Toads are like, "Yeah." And Ben's is like, "Are we gonna tell the captain about that creature we found?" And then Bog's like, "Oh, we're gonna tell the captain everything." And then Wally's like, "Three cheers for Anne, defender of Wartwood. Hip hip hooray, hip hip hooray." And then Anne's like, "Oh, thanks guys." And she's crying. She's like, "Now who wants to sign my cast?" And Spring's like, me, I'm her best friend." And Paul's like, "Me, they move over you like dweebs." And Wally's like, "Hey, I can't write." And he still wants to sign even though he can't write. Like, And the episode this half of the episode just ends. Good. First half of the mid-season finale, this half is a 9 out of 10. Really great. Just the whole, they didn't mention Hop Hop losing his job, and they went to the supermarket, and Anne getting her tennis racket out of nothing. Those were my only two complaints. Everything else, the build up, the lighting, the rain, Anne getting beat up, showing that when you're a hero, you don't just win. Sometimes you'll lose, and while you're losing, when you protect the people you care about, that makes you a hero. So I'm really glad they show that with Anne. And I'm gonna be doing my review for Prison Break that's gonna come out today. But yeah, that was Toad Tax. Good first half of the mid-season finale. 9 out of 10. And everyone, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell. Give me a big thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. And I'll see you guys later today for the second half in the mid-season finale. We're almost done with the first half. With I just said it. Prison Break. Alright, bye.